Okay, welcome to day one of Google Bootcamp. I am so excited that you have decided to expand your learning and get some more technology integration skills. We are going to go through a quick slideshow just to kind of give you some expectations, kind of why I'm hoping you're wanting to do this and what you can get out of it. And then I will walk you through the Google Classroom and the website, kind of show you where everything is, and then you will be free to rock and roll at your own pace. So, to get started, so this is going to be our level one Google Bootcamp. We are going to go through a basic overview of all of our Google Workspace for Education tools. But first, we have already joined the classroom, and I will tell you how your sign in works in just a minute. So just a little bit about me. If you don't know me, my name is Katie Maddox. I started teaching in 2013. I was a sixth grade teacher at Jemison Middle School, which is now Jemison Intermediate School. And I remember being one of the very first teachers to help integrate with Google Classroom at our school. A coworker and I got like a kid's login, and he would make assignments and I would respond to him as kids so that we could help train our teachers and kind of figure out how this whole thing worked. That led me to go back to school, and I got a master's degree in instructional technology in 2017. And I really found my passion then, that it was integrating technology in the classroom. And I also really, really enjoyed helping all of my coworkers do it as well. So I became level one certified in 2019. I've maintained that certification since then. I also got my level two certification in 2021. And in 2022, I applied for and was named a Google trainer. So one of the things I have to do every year is I have to do at least 10 Google trainings and report back to Google. I do kind of get some insider information from time to time. So it's one of those achievements that I'm proud to have and I'm happy to keep and bring to our county. And then in 2022, whenever I was finishing up my second grad degree, which was my EDS in instructional technology, one of my big passion projects was making a virtual Google Bootcamp. I loved the Google boot camps that we went to in person that were for the school technology coordinators with our trainers. I felt like we got so much out of it, and I really wanted to bring that into our schools, but I also knew that subs were going to be a problem and things like that. So I decided to do the whole thing virtually. This is, oh my gosh, I've lost count. I'll show you how many I've got. This is a bunch. I can tell you that at my last count, almost 100 educators in our district have gone through Google Bootcamp since this started in 2022. So you guys will join that. I've had a handful go on and take their certifications and become level one certified. It's just a certificate and a little achievement badge that you can give yourself, that you have put in the effort and you've gone that extra step to show that you're committed to lifelong learning. So what are you going to get out of this boot camp? So hopefully you will get some knowledge about Google applications, maybe some things that you did not know before. Collaboration is something that is a key part of every professional development, and it's one of the things that suffers the most when we do something virtually. We used to use Jamboards and do like weekly activities together. Jamboard has been sunset by Google. It's replaced by Figma, or FigJam, which is owned by Figma. It's real crazy to use. It's not my favorite, to be honest. Canva is also real crazy and not a Google product. So with the collaboration aspect, we do have open communication, and I can host office hours every week, every Monday at this time if you ever have a question or want to join in and talk through something. But it is one of the pieces that does suffer that we do this virtually. You will get continued support from me if you want to do a big overhaul lesson in your classroom and you want an extra set of adult hands. I'm there. Mr. Dolbear is also on here. He is our new instructional technology coordinator for the district. He is also going to be happy to help as well. And then, like I said, if you wanted to move on and get certified, then you have the ability to do that as well. And it is supposed to be free until April. So we won't be finished with the boot camp until May, but you have all the materials. So if you wanted to go ahead and take your test and just kind of see how you did, you could do that while it's still free. So the purpose of the exam is not required to get the credit for this course. Doing the coursework is the only requirement. It is just you're going to be prepared to take it if you want to. So this is going to be for people who want to improve their tech integration, learn more about Google, improve your Google skills, become that certified educator, and it may give you a passion for something else just like it did for me. So, couple of things just to keep in mind. We all have so many responsibilities. We all have full time jobs. We all have families. So, I don't want this to be a priority, but it will take a little bit of extra time to do those things too. So, keep in mind that all of these things that we're going to talk about in here are doable, but we're not going to be able to just get everything accomplished in one day. I love when I have the opportunity to go to new conferences and learn about new tools, and I come back with all these great ideas. I just have to kind of keep in mind, Rome wasn't built in a day. So we've got to slowly integrate this, and it's going to take learning on both our part and our students' parts. Preparation is key. If you want to try out something new, highly recommend doing it yourself. If you make a Google form for the first time as a test, send it to a coworker. Hey, do you mind looking at this real quick? Or send it to a trusted student that will help you, give you honest feedback or help you navigate through and help you troubleshoot, or even me. That is what we are here for. So you always want to try things out before you just jump headfirst into it, doing it in your classroom. Google updates all the time. Their favorite time to update is September, which I always love because we always get back in school and then something else changes and you're like, oh my gosh, not another thing. And all of the videos that are recorded in here for you guys, I did all of those in 2022. So a lot of things have changed 2022, 2023. So I probably should re-update all of them. Finding the time to do all that is difficult, but there will be some things that do look different. And so please know that ahead of time. And the whole purpose of this, one of my true mottos that I live by, is that I want to help you guys work smarter, not harder. If there's an easier way to do it, we need to figure it out and get some of that time back for us. If there is a more efficient way that's going to be more helpful and I'm going to be able to do this in half the amount of time, let's do it. Let's figure it out. So that's the whole purpose of this. It is not to give you more work to do. It is to make your life easier. So when you take the Google Educator exam, if that's something you choose to pursue, one of the questions that you're going to be asked are about the benefits of a digital classroom. So this is, going totally paperless versus having a mixture of kind of with paper and technology. But we do want to make sure that we are giving our students enough balance that they are connected to the real world. They're getting those, what they're calling durable skills now, those soft skills that are preparing them for the workforce, that they can operate a computer, that they can operate a Word document, that they can check an email and compose an email, because those are skills that they're going to need to know to live and thrive in those environments. We do also want to make sure that we encourage the appropriate type of collaboration, that technology can support all different types of learners with auditory support. There are so many accessibility features, especially in Google. I really need to share some of those resources. Let me make a note about that with a post for y'all, because I've got a whole bunch of stuff and it just gets added to all the time about the accessibility things that are being increased to help different types of learners. The ease of access to information, probably more than we want to know half the time. Online responsibility, instilling cybersecurity in those students and what is safe online and what's not safe. And then you can also gamify a lot of learning with technology too. So those are some great benefits to a digital classroom. I absolutely do not think you need to go all digital. I think that there should be a balance. And I think that whenever our technology is used, it should always be for a purpose and a reason and not just as a direct substitute. So that is just my personal feelings or stance on that. And I'm the technology director. So our purpose, the whole thing, demonstrate a mastery, a variety of Google applications, and receive recognition for your hard work. So the other thing I want to point out, and if you're looking forward to next year to teaching, and we have to work on those PLPs, if you happen to choose the standard that has the technology, this is some skill-based or research-based things that you could bring in here. So this model is what we call the SAMR model. SAMR. So S stands for substitution, which is where technology is a direct substitute. That instead of us taking a paper and pencil test, we're taking our test on Google Forms. That my technology element is directly a substitute for that. Augmentation, and that act as a substitute, but it gives some improvement. We're going to have a book report, and instead of me handwriting it 5 times because I have to do different drafts and everything, I can type it on Google Docs and revise as I go. So it is a substitute, but it still is giving me some functional improvements because I can do spell check and I can check my own errors and I can send it to a peer for revising and editing, and I can share it with my teacher and not waste a bunch of paper. and not get hand cramps from writing all that. So that would be augmentation. So those are the areas that we're going to focus on for level 1. If you decide to do a level 2 boot camp next year, we move more into the modification and redefinition, which is where we are using technology to do things that would not be otherwise possible without that technology element. Okay, so we are going to go ahead now. I'm going to stop sharing this and jump over to our Google Classroom. So I try my best to use all Google products. So Google Classroom is going to be our main communication hub. Every Monday when I do office hours, they're going to be through this Meet link. Just a fun fact, only the teacher can open that link. So if you hop on here for some reason because you really have a question you want to discuss and it ends up being like 3:10, 3:15 and I hadn't joined yet, shoot me an email, shoot me a text, and be like, hey, Erwin, can you jump on the Google Meet? Because I forgot. Okay. So have no problem doing that. So if you want to ever use that with your students, like, hello, where was this during COVID? The teacher is the only one that can open that Meet link. Y'all can be sitting in there hanging out and it won't open until I open it. So you've got your stream right here. Classwork is where you're going to find most of your things. So once I've finished up the video recording today, I'll upload it to YouTube and I'll put the link to it right here so you can always access it. This sign-in form right here, this is for your credit for this meeting today. This is a little bit different than the other one, so please make sure you do this one. If you want to go do it right now, that's fine. Then we have our website link at the top. By the way, if you've never noticed that you can drag and drop these, you sure can. These are called our topics that I built. And then I have a couple of things for you right here. This is our weekly check-in form. This is the one we do for attendance each week. And then I did make a little checklist for those of us that really need that satisfaction of the check mark or the cross off. It just looks like a color-coded checklist with boxes for you to have to mark everything off. And then I have a couple of other things I'll post that are just in my draft thing just for extras that whenever I make a post every week, that you'll be able to have a couple of extra links and things like that. So this is going to kind of be your resource hub. You should see it over here in your enrolled classes. So you may have to scroll down a little bit, especially if you utilize Google Classroom a lot. They'll be under enrolled, not under teaching. As you can see, these are all the boot camps that we've done. So there have been several for sure. So let's go ahead now and let's take a look at the website link. So I hope that I've opened up the website. Everybody should be able to see that with the permissions. It is only shared to people within our district. So if you have a BFF that works in Shelby County, I've probably already shared it to them, number one, but they may not have access to see this. So you may have to, well, I just turned my sharing off. That was good. Good job. See, even I mess up. Okay. There we go. So this is kind of our central hub for our Google Bootcamp. It's our welcome page. It has our calendar on here that has all of our days on there of every week when it begins. And it's got a link to my resources site down here at the bottom that has all of my past trainings and some other Google things. And pretty much it on there. So I have Start Here. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that. So this is basically just a blurb about how you could reach me, my email, my phone number, and this is a fundamental training link. I'll go over that at the end. Up here also at the top with our navigation, you will see our modules. So we're broken out into 6 weeks. There's actually only 5 weeks of work, and week 6 is supposed to be a catch-up or study week, whichever one you prefer. So week 1, that's technically going to start today. You have 2 applications, and I knocked out the hardest 2 first. So this is going to be Google Sites and then YouTube. So YouTube is a Google product. Just FYI, you all have a YouTube account with your Chilton BOE address. So you can access YouTube on there, and there are some education elements for YouTube. If you have a school that has YouTube blocked, let me know. I can try to help you with some workarounds for that. But most of the time, it's just blocked for the students, not staff. And then what you have under each application is going to be 3 things. There's going to be a what you need to know. So this is going to be like a tangible checklist. So if you are a person that you need to be able to read instructions, every one of these little to-do skills have a hyperlink out to it that is going to go to a Google how-to page. So you can click on that hyperlink and you can, it will send you out there and you can actually read how to do those things. I also gave you some spots for notes. So this is, you don't have to print them. This is just another one of those ways that people learn best that I just try to give you the opportunity to do so. The other thing that you're going to see is Katie's video. This is going to be a screen recording of me walking through how to do every single one of those things on the what you need to know.
We were able to use Google Ads geothermal.
This video is going to be your.
So I've got my, lovely self down there in the corner. This was 3 years ago. So like I said, some things may look different. So just take that with a grain of salt. So I'm going to go through, you can slow it down, you can speed it up, you can stop it, you can start it, all the things that you want to do for how to do all of those things that are listed on there. And it's going to be me walking through how to do them. So you're probably going to get really tired of listening to my voice. I'm so sorry, but it is there for you to help you. So again, we've got that. And then the fundamentals. So these are not required. They're little supplemental lessons to kind of help you, number one, figure out how Google asks questions, but to also give you some application background information. I went by application whenever I organized this. Google kind of goes by what you're wanting to get out of this in the classroom, like captivate your class with video. That does talk about YouTube, but it also may bring in Google Meet some too. So I tried my best to match up the fundamentals lessons, but they're not always perfect. So keep that in mind for me too. Don't crucify me for that. I'll go to that site in just a minute. Week 2 is our OG3 docs sheet or docs drive and slides. Again, what you need to know, video. And then I also tried to give you some links that go to like applications. Like I love some Casey Bell. I love Ditch That Textbook for giving you those resources again to apply those in your classroom. Week 3 is going to be classroom, which hopefully we all know how to use pretty well since we are working in Google Classroom right now. If you are not using it a whole lot in your classroom, maybe this will give you a different perspective too, because you're going to be a student in the classroom. Chrome, and then Forms, which Forms is another thing you're going to be using every week. Week 4, Gmail. This is one of my favorite ones. I hope that you learned something in Gmail because there are so many things in Gmail that I could teach you. Calendar, and then groups. Week 5 is probably one of the more difficult weeks too, because Sheets is something that not a lot of people utilize. I will say that I use it a lot to make lists and a lot of data and stuff that I have to export. But if that's really not something that you're involved in, you have to do a lot. You may not use Sheets a lot, but hopefully you can find something in there that you can apply. I love drawings. It is basically like, think of a really simplified Canva. It is a great program that your upper elementary, early middle school could kind of use to make graphics versus using Canva, which is very overwhelming. And then Google Meet, which we're on right now. We used to have a district Zoom license. We do not have one anymore. So Google Meet is our go-to video chat software. So make sure, I would especially try to spend time on that. If I also remember correctly, the exam is pretty Google Meet heavy. So you want to make sure that you take good notes on that section. And then, like I said, week 6 is kind of a catch up and a study week. The time frame is not super rigorous for you guys. You're going to be the last boot camp. So I'm going to jump back over here to the calendar really quickly. Technically, we're starting today. When the What the Tech newsletter goes out Wednesday, I'm going to do one last call out for people to sign up before I close the registration form. We may have some people who are trying to squeeze some more hours in there before certification in June. So I'm going to give everybody till Friday and they can kind of catch up from there. So we're going to go all the way through the month of April. And then technically our last week starts on May 4th. I'm going to give everybody until the end of school, so May 21st, 22nd-ish, to finish up all your work and get your forms in, and then I'll close everything out for the year and assign PD credit. So that is something that I will do. You do not have to register for anything in professional learning. I will keep up with your weekly check-in forms in a Google Sheet, and I will assign your credit for that. So let's jump back to those fundamentals really quickly. That link is also located in your Google Classroom. So I just want to show you how to sign in really quickly because it's a little bit of a process. I would for sure log in the top right corner so it will track your progress. But it's got all of these lessons. You can do the lessons if you want to. They don't take 17 minutes. You just read and watch a few videos. But one of the things you really may want to look at is the review, because it's going to help you figure out how Google asks the questions. They are very specific, some of them, and they'll say, pick all that apply. I will tell you this on your Google exam, should you choose to take it, it will tell you exactly how many answers are going to be on the exam. Another thing that I will do for you, gonna go, oh gosh, I lost it again. One more time, guys. So sorry. One thing I will do on the Google exam is I will kind of give you a video to walk back through how to register for the exam and a little bit of prep stuff for it. I have it listed right there. It is usually $10. Right now, it's still free. Everything I have read just says free until April. So April starts Wednesday. It could stop Wednesday. It could stop at the end of April. I do not know. So if you want to get some more information about that, let me know and I can help you out with that. So, okay. Want to make sure one more time for everybody who is watching the recording that if you have a question, you for sure can email me after. But once we get in Google Classroom, you need your website link, you need your weekly check-in. So you will fill out this same form every single week. So on our check-in form, you will say, I have finished week 1. No, I don't need help with anything. And no, I don't need help. And you will submit it. And then I will get those. Make sure that you go back and you sign in from today. That is going to be under meetings, under the kickoff video. Make sure you use this form to sign in. And if you have any questions and you're watching the recording, please feel free to email me and I will get back with you as soon as I can. And I'm going to stop the recording.